One of the problems with creating a free society is that it requires personal responsibility. Most of us hate that. Much easier to just blame your problems on somebody else and then have the mob go after them. Another problem, there's just not enough drama, and humans do love drama. Libertarians' aversion to meddling in other people's affairs strikes the average human as a little bit dull. You don't see a lot of drama with the libertarians. You do see this kind of thing in segments of the far right, with the end of the world scenarios being predicted and then quickly disproven, but it's rare. More common than it used to be, unfortunately, but still rare. On the left, unlike most other places on the political spectrum, it is positively ubiquitous. There's always some kind of catastrophe being manufactured in order to feed our drama addiction and thereby control our behavior. The planet is dying. We all have to turn off our air conditioners and suffer. We have to buy cars that don't work. We need to eat food that nobody likes, and on and on and on. Never mind the verifiable fact that the planet is not dying, and really, if it could talk, would tell us it really doesn't much care what we do. If a dying planet doesn't motivate people to punish themselves, they'll tell us that we are actually saving ourselves from environmental catastrophes, which will kill us all. Never mind the fact that fewer of us are dying due to environmental reasons than at any time in human history. You don't care about the planet? Well, obviously you're Hitler, but even you must care about income inequality. The vast gulf between rich and poor that capitalism creates, you must care about that. Never mind the fact that income inequality is about the same in restricted socialist economies as it is in capitalist economies, where the average person, including the average poor person, is much better off. Threat to our democracy, right-wing extremists, insurrection, you get the idea. They'll just keep going and going until they find something that strikes an emotional chord with you and then use that to, you guessed it, control your behavior. It's not a coincidence that one of the epicenters of leftist political power is Hollywood. After all, the purpose of art is to elicit an emotional reaction. There's not necessarily anything wrong with that, as long as it's used to entertain. But for heaven's sake, don't use it as your main tool for organizing society. Our methods for organizing society should be boring. They should be boring. They should be based on numbers and statistics and proofs about what works best for human beings on Earth. Government should be boring, unless it's being used to repel an attacker. But leftists are always on the attack, most commonly against their own people, and the people are, far too often, only too happy to oblige. Libertarians and most people on the right do not have a messaging problem. Their messaging is just fine. It's just that it's not interesting enough to the average person to get a reaction out of them. And actually, I should say, to prevent a reaction from them. This is where the heart of the problem lies. Leftists are always calling us to action about something. Now, when they say us, they actually mean you. And when they say you, they actually mean someone else. The point is, action is dramatic. Action is emotionally satisfying, especially when we don't actually have to do anything. I'm only half joking when I say that there is a reason that action movies are so popular. Freedom is boring. We don't get to take any action. We don't get to assign blame. We don't get the emotional satisfaction of punishing the bad guy, even if it's us, to an extent I don't think ever experienced here in the United States. Leftists are creating a dramatic story that we are supposed to believe that is completely disconnected from actual reality. They have tools at their disposal they've never had before, and they're using those tools to completely cast aside the only vestiges of morality and integrity that they used to have. We allow ourselves to be captured by the emotional drama of the left at our own peril. It's time to wake up, people. This story does not have a happy ending.